Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. And we are flying out the F-15 guys today in the new BR ranges to talk about if it actually should or not be changed. I'm kind of divided guys. First let's talk about the aircraft. I mean I'm very divided because the performance of the aircraft is amazing. It really is a top dog. But he has one little thing with the sparrows and the radar and everything with that it's not really on par with some of the other aircraft. But the problem is that even though the APG-68 of the F-16C has TWS and this thing doesn't, I still think that they are very similar in the way that they work at the end of the day. So even though he has some problems dealing with MiG-29s, Su-27s and Yak-141s, at the end of the day, guys, it is pretty much the same as an F-16. Like, he has even more range and more missiles than that. He still uses the AIM-9M, and in the other variants, he uses the EM-3 and Python, which are very good missiles as well. So my heart says that this thing should definitely be a top dog, you know, but I'm kind of divided because it's not the greatest thing ever. Still, I'm way more comfortable flying the Russian aircraft, for example, more like the Russians, of course, because of the R-73 and R-27ERs, which are both better missiles in my opinion than the AIM-9M and the AIM-7 Sparrow, right? Which means that you get more kills, you are more reliable, and the performance of the aircraft can be better or worse, and it kind of doesn't matter. So you can see what happens sometimes in the teams over here. Everybody gets killed, and then you are alone against a lot of targets, and there is how you normally die. And to be honest, the majority of the matches that you will fight in the F-15 are going to be the top dogs anyway, right? So is it really necessary to see a change in the BR of this thing? Well, at the end of the day, kinda, it doesn't matter too much. But there is a little part of me that also, as I said, I'm divided, that also thinks that maybe this thing should be a 12.7 BR. The next two matches will kinda give a perspective on why I'm actually divided. So as you saw in the first game, I actually got a kill from a 45-kilometer shot. I tried to do the same here, but of course the target was really scared and he just turned away 40 kilometers away from the missile. So yeah guys, if I'm going to leave you a tip, you don't need to be this scared about BVR missiles, okay? This normally makes you lose a lot of targets. Once I noticed that 2 MiG-29s actually launched onto me, maybe even 3, I decided to go on a defensive. But, you know, it's only when I see a more advanced aircraft than I do this, or in a sense that it has a better missile. Because these aircraft, I mean, the MiG-29 warning on the RWR is basically all the Russian aircraft. The Yak, the Su-27, and the MiG-29, they all use this. So you can be sure that that's an R-27ER being fired, right? Which means that it's better to just avoid it when you are using something with a Sparrow. If it's not that, I would just continue to try to lock them. And as you saw, there was a lot of targets flying very high and firing BVR missiles, the majority of them being Russian aircraft. So yes, I was definitely going to get killed if I was to just maintain the position there. So you can clearly see that the enemy has an advantage that would make us think that maybe it's not the best option to, you know, have this aircraft in the 12.7. And again, I mean, sometimes these matches, they are so all or nothing that basically everybody was dead already, and I was flying or fighting against all of these Russians and all sorts of other aircraft kind of alone, and eventually I get killed. But then this is the reason I kind of get divided. I was going to wrap up, I was not even going to include the last match, but I was like, let's do one more just to feel how it is. And then I just got a down tier. And this is where I think the problem comes with my mentality talking about the F-15, right? Because to be fighting F-16Cs, MiG-29s, Gripens, Su-27s, aircraft that have better missiles in general, or better radars or anything like that, or turns better or whatever, then yes, then maybe you would see that maybe the F-15 should be a lower BR. But then when you try to fight the poor old 11.3s and 11.7s that are still third generation aircraft, then you actually see how effective this thing is, and you kind of have a feeling that maybe it should be a higher BR to avoid seeing these aircraft. So that's my, you know, my like confusion on where the F-15 should be. At one point, I see these things struggling against the R-27ZRs and R-73s, but at the same time, I see it stomping the lower tiers that you normally find flying with an 12.3 aircraft. So I don't know, I just feel very, very divided, and I'm leaning more towards that the F-15, if I have to choose between a third generation aircraft or a lot of third generation aircraft to suffer, or the F-15 to suffer a little bit, way less than the third generations, maybe yes, maybe we should see the F-15 going upwards. But another thing that got me a little bit confused on if these aircraft should be or not 12.7, look at the aircraft. There's a lot of third generations over here, MiG-23s, F-4Ss and others, but we have some older aircraft. We have F-14As that have A9Hs. We have F-16As that, although they are weaker here and there, they are stronger in other places than the F-15. So yeah, you can see some MiG-29s from time to time, the original MiG-29. So I don't know, guys, I really don't know. Like, I was going to ask for your opinion. What do you think? Do you think the F-15 should be a 12.7 or not? Because in some matches, I think yes. Like, for example, this is one of them. I think it's kind of unfair that an F-15 is fighting all of these aircraft. But at the end of the day, maybe, I don't know, like, if he gets to the top tiers, he suffers a little bit. So it's problematic. So yeah, leave it in the comments. What do you think about this? Maybe, like, a different thing that they could do is maybe remove the A9M from it and add the A9L, you know? Then it would be a proper 12.0, 12.3 aircraft. It could even have a lower BR, right? So, I don't know, I just feel like it's a big problem, but not that big, because it's just one aircraft. It's one aircraft that has a lot of meaning for a lot of people, and a lot of people play it, so it kind of matters, and it's already in 3 nations. So I don't know, I feel like it's, I don't know, I'm really, really lost on the sense of where this aircraft should be. With the stats that I have in this aircraft and the way that I play with it, and with the comfort gameplay style that you can have flying a Russian aircraft at the moment, I think it's fine. Like, it's all right that it is a 12.3. Is it healthy for the game? Maybe not much, but remember, we will see more versions of the F-15 that will have basically the same performance, but just with better missiles in the future, and they will probably just be 12.7 at the end of the day. So this is an aircraft that will eventually just be one more that you need to grind, and less people will end up playing maybe, or something, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. Always remember, I have a secondary channel doing GTA content and others. But yeah, see you guys on the next one, and bye.